Manager, the Frontenac branch of Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC, New York Stock Exchange. Good morning, Scott Carothers.
Good morning, McGraw.
All right, so we get great news that the economy grew at 4%, and supposedly a good jobs number coming out today, and we plummet 300-plus points yesterday. What happened?
Right, it was a harsh day yesterday. The Dow ended up losing about 317 points. We closed at 16,563. Pretty much geopolitical concerns, the Argentina default, and worries about Europe's economy, and fears the Fed will raise interest rates sooner than later led to the huge sell-off. The sell-off broke a 5-month win streak for the Dow and turned its negative for the year. The volatility index jumped 27% to its highest close since April 11th. Gold was off 1.1% to 1281. Oil lost 2.1% to 98.12, and the yield on the U.S. Treasury was flat at 2.56. So basically, when you get some positive news here, it makes us think interest rates might rise. So, and that's a negative. So it's like a positive can be a negative sometimes too.
It's almost interesting that they've grown accustomed to and now need the Fed's stimulus package, or they can't live on their own.
Or else they don't think they can live on their own.
Yeah, it's interesting. Great news coming out of Chrysler.
Yeah, great news out of Chrysler. Chrysler U.S. auto sales jumped 20% in July on strong Jeep sales. They sold 167,667 vehicles in July, up from about 140,000 in July of last year. This was their best July since 2005. Truck sales were up 27% and accounted for about 78% of total sales. Jeep sales were up 41% for their best July ever. Chrysler thinks U.S. auto sales for the year will be 16.8 million, which is where they were before the recession began in 2007. So that's big news out of Chrysler.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, moving on to some other people. How about Kellogg?
Kellogg's not seeing things so good. Kellogg, the nation's largest cereal maker with brands like Special K and Frosted Flakes, reported lower numbers yesterday. They said consumers are turning away from sit-down breakfasts with really heavy foods in favor of higher protein and more portable items. They are replacing the head of their U.S. Foods division for the second time in about a year. Kellogg's revenue declined 0.8% to $3.69 billion. Their earnings dropped about 16% to $295 million, or about 82 cents a share, and they lowered their full-year guidance by 10 cents to $3.85 a share. So they're just moving away from those high carbohydrate cereals, in favor of protein. So,
all right, and then what's going on with T-Mobile?
T-Mobile, France's Liliad offered $15 billion in cash for a 56.6 stake of T-Mobile. T-Mobile is the fourth largest U.S. cell phone company and has been in talks for over 6 months to be acquired by Sprint, the number 3 telephone operator. Sprint is majority owned by Japan's SoftBank. The deal between Sprint and T-Mobile is in question, so Liliad is jumping into the game. They think the two companies would save about $10 billion in synergies. This shows, how important the cell phone business is around the world, especially in the U.S. market, and they're still fighting over T-Mobile. So
that is interesting. Everybody wants their hands on T-Mobile. We'll see who ends up getting them.
It is kind of crazy how that's working out so far.
Yeah. All right. And then what the numbers today? What are we hoping for the numbers?
Well, today's going to be another tough day. It looks like so far. The Dow looks off about 85 points. We get more earnings today, including Procter & Gamble. Investors will be, focused on the big jobs report. We expect the economy added 220,000 new jobs, and the unemployment rate to stay at 6.1. So we'll have to see how that comes in.
Yeah, we'll get there. All right, 220K, 6.1. I got it written down. Those numbers come out in about 33 minutes from now, so we'll wait for that. Scott Carothers, have yourself a good day. Have yourself a good weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Sounds great.